Nope. Can't hear you. This is welcome to the mime chat. That's all right. We're only a minute in, and still no sound from Bub. Although I'm sure he can talk if he wanted to. So, everybody, welcome to the Mo Faces chat. I am your host Metarog, because Bub is over there not talking. So, tonight's topic, if you haven't discerned it from the preview of the screen, is X-Men. We were going to talk all things X-Men. So we know that this is going to be a sterling and a stirring episode as soon as Bub starts talking. But before we do that, let's talk about the chat. Let's see who's in here already. We had Tailgating. We had Unruly Simeon and my buddy Scott Neely, Scott424, and JB. Hello. You're still no audio? Nothing. Zero. No, it's not happening. We got Werewolf by Lunchtime all the way from Australia. That old comic smell. Yeah. It's not me, Bub. It's not me. Agu Ramos, now called Agu Rhythm. And we got the Mastodon, Don. Happy birthday again, Don. I couldn't make your stream, but I got in there because I wanted to wish you happy birthday. And Jackson Roy Kirk, my buddy, also one of the most knowledgeable guys here on the tubes. And your fellow Kentuckian, Jambo Comics, is in here as well. Yeah, Pantomime Bob. No, I cannot hear you. Which is refreshing in a sense. My buddy Bill from Arizona is in here. How you doing? I think you just had your first CGC unboxing. I guess the ones that you sent to CGC. And my buddy Jason is in here from Heroes to Icons. How you doing, Jason? Kavi NYC Comics and Comic Books NYC. One of my favorite guys here. Thank you for stopping in, buddy. Great shows here this past week, by the way. And let's see who else we got here. Chad Fisher, welcome. I'm sure we'll have Bub up at some point. You can't keep Bub down, trust me. And we got, of course, Matt, the boy who had 7, and his 9.8 slab collection, which is just obscenely good, of course.
I don't know what's wrong with
we hear you. We hear you now.
I told him like
we hear
twice.
You.
And then Rogers was freaking babbling on like an
we
idiot.
Hear you. We hear you.
What's going on?
You're on. You're on now.
I can't even hear him anymore. I had it before. It was working. And when we were backstage, it was working. And then when I press go live, it quit. I don't know. I'm probably going to back out and go back in.
You're good.
So
we can hear you.
They're left with freaking Roger. He's going to blow him to death. Maybe like an hour and a half.
These are just bloopers here, folks. Hi, Doug. How you doing? And hi, Caroline, Lady Fantastic.
To tell you.
Bub, we hear you, Bub.
It's not working. My little icon light's turning on, though, so it might be working. Hold on.
It's working.
Hold on.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to back out and go back in, and maybe that'll fix
live bloopers are best. You're right, Scott. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Hey, I hear him. All right, honey. Thanks. Hey, this is Bub's Comics here with the No Faces Comic Chat. Welcome. Sorry I wasn't able to join you earlier. We had gremlins in the system, but we're back now. So welcome.
Yeah, good to have you back, Bub. I knew that the Gremlins couldn't keep you down. I knew that you have
Oh, the
all your different anti-gremlin equipment there handy. So I knew
Oh yeah.
it would only be a temporary setback. How you
Yes.
doing, Bad Dad? Well, I've already shouted out the chat, by the way. While
Did
were
you?
working on that? Yeah, yeah.
Did you get Scott 424?
I did.
Did you get Lady Fantastic?
I certainly did.
You
Lady
get Bad Dad,
Fantastic.
who's probably parking a motorcycle inside of a 2-story comic shed right now.
Well, he says he's in a secret headquarters in the Poconos.
Oh man, did you get Jambo Comics?
I sure did. Your fellow Kentuckian.
Did you get Unruly Simeon?
Absolutely. The tailgating.
Cobby Comic Books NYC Cobby. Did you get him?
Oh, you know, I got.
Did you get From Heroes to Icon?
Absolutely, Jason.
What about Bigglesworth? Did you get Bigglesworth?
I got Doug. No problem.
Did you get Werewolf by Lunchtime, hailing all the way from Perth, North Carolina?
Yeah, and then we got Steve. I Love Disney and Comics just popped in here as as my buddy Kenny, Comic Head 84.
Hey, Comic Head 84. He must have heard that nobody could hear me. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't have been here.
Yeah,
we got Bill. Did you get The Boy Who Had 7?
You know I did. I would not leave Matt out in any way, shape, or form.
Are you sure? I mean, there's probably a few things he would opt to be not a part of. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm sure there is, but as far as I'm concerned, if I'm involved, I'm going to make sure he's shouted out.
I understand. Did you get Unruly Simeon and Jackson Roy Kirk?
Oh, you know it.
Well, did you get Agu Rhythm? You know, he used to be Agu Ramos.
Yep.
Wow. Did you get JB Discovery Bay Comics?
Of course.
I don't even think you need
all
me.
Over again.
I don't even think you need me around here.
Of course I do. Of course I do. I'm not a solo show kind of guy. You know what I mean? That's just not me.
Well, I got to tell you, I didn't hear what you were saying, but I'm sure you did a fantastic job. Entertaining as always, keeping the chat on their toes, and really just engaged with everyone. I appreciate you.
You're very welcome, of course.
Thank you. Oh, my camera's askew. All right. What's our topic tonight there, Roger?
All things X-Men.
Ah, nice. Well, not all things. We don't have that kind of time. I understand there's a birthday party we have to rush off and get to. Is that correct?
That's right. That's correct. We have a birthday party. I have to get my streamers and my noisemakers and all that. And I know you have some extra accoutrements that you may be bringing yourself. So
I tried. I explained that all in the little chat chain.
Yeah.
What you got to do. I tell you what, though, we're excited to have you all here now with us today, because if you were not here last week, we had one of the best shows we've ever had. I mean, it was engaging, it was entertaining, it was thought-provoking. I got several messages after last week's show about how people just sat in their shower with their water running and crying in the fetal position over all the life-changing revelations we had made over the course of the show. Roger, did you get any similar correspondence from our loyal viewers?
I think I was out of the loop on that one, Bub. So you must have had a show without me or something, because my recollection was that you were spending some time with the missus. So.
So you missed last week's show? I didn't notice.
I you didn't. That part, I believe. Oh boy.
Well, all right. To be honest, no, we could never miss Roger. Wait, did I say that right? No, we could never not miss Roger.
Is it a double negative?
I don't know how many negatives I need to be nice. I always have that. We got X-Men Adventures. Yes, we are. What's our team name, Roger? Do you remember that one?
Mutant something or others, but I forgot what it was.
You're really on fire tonight.
Yeah.
All right, it's the Monday Mutants.
Monday Mutants. There we go.
Because we're not generally mutants the rest of the week. I would assume.
Yeah, I generally don't mutate that much. No.
You don't? Do you lactate very often?
No, never, as far as I know.
Well, you should see a doctor about that.
Well,
all right. We got. I'm gonna start off, okay. So here is. I don't know who that is. Let Steve or Is Steve? Who did this? Anybody know who did the cover for that? Somebody
Steve
trying to look
Epting?
like Jim Lee. Who is it?
Is it Steve Epting?
Sure.
No, I don't know. That's a guess. I'm just based
I
on
don't know
what
who
you're
did
saying.
that. Doing their best Jim Lee impression, and then here's the OG Jim Lee. This is one of my favorite covers of all time for the X-Men. I just absolutely love
crossover.
it. Yeah. Them their annual and X-Men Adventures #1 because, and I don't have the entire series of these, but a couple of the covers are quite striking, and it's just one of those things where even though the interiors aren't that good either, it just makes you nostalgic for the old TV show. So I appreciate that. Of course, I call it the old TV show, but there was no X-Men show prior to that. So that's there's a little like pilot type show, but for the most part, that's the first ongoing series cartoon that the X-Men had. So to me, that makes it an old show. Now I know for Roger, I think he was already twice removed from. I think he was on his fifth car bought brand new. Is it a Ford Model T when you finally got around to seeing this show? I don't remember. You remember?
It had a steam engine. That's all I remember.
It had a steam engine. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, if we ever need any hot air on the show, we know where to go. We got Jackson
exactly.
in the house saying, Steve Lytle.
Steve Lytle. Yeah. Steve
Lytle.
Yeah, he did a lot of Legion stuff.
Right. So instead of apologizing for the glare, we can just say, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine.
Don't quit your day job, buddy.
I can't. Where will I get my constant supply of paper hats?
Oh, boy.
All right. Good to have you. Hi, Aaliyah's in the house, he says. Jambo says, let's see. Lady Fantastic says it's Mark Knapp who did the cover on this. I don't think that's right.
Mark is everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, man, he's got one of those long names. Raul Samuel, Mark Steve. I got to tell you, I've mentioned before, but I work predominantly with the Hispanic community. About 90% of my clients I'd say about 85% of it was probably Mexican, 5% other, and 10% we just don't ask. And and I think I've seen this name before. Raul Samuel Mark Steve is it's about 3 names shy of me being able to narrow it down from all our clients. But anyway, let's see what else. Yep, there it is. Steve Lytle mine.
Steve Lytle.
Yep. All right.
Well, that's Jackson. I told you, Jackson. I mean, he knows his stuff, man.
What would we do without the stellar chat and their amazing knowledge?
They keep us on our toes too, man. We need that.
Look, oh, lady. Hey, I'm just glad you're here, lady. I missed you.
So corny.
I can't remember the last time you were here. I haven't been invited you on in 2 years, according to you, but I have invited you on for the reunion.
She has been on.
I mean, more than one. No, she fusses that she only got to come on once, but most people only come on once. There's only a select few. And those are the people who basically tell me, hey, if you're too lazy to find another guest, you can always send me an invite. In that vein would be Jambo Comics. There for a while, it was Deadpool 2323.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to make it Raul, but he wised up after about the 3rd invitation. He was coming. You found something to do every Monday night. I promise you.
Well, Raul's a smart man. That's all I can say.
Is Lady Fantastic married to the Invisible Man? Not that I'm aware of. I mean, she could. Maybe she doesn't know.
No, I think that's the Invisible Woman who's married to Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, is that how it goes?
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The inverse does not work. Right. It only goes that way. All right.
Right. Okay. That makes sense now. I totally understand.
Yeah.
Here's X-Men #1. I don't know. I just thought we'd show some X-Men love. We don't generally do too much of that on this show for some reason or another. I know the most that we ever talk about X-Men are that you tend to say that the X-Men fans are that their collectors are ravenous animals who will bite your ankle and pummel you on the top of the head in order to get to that all coveted X-Men 487 that they might be missing from 400 through 490 run, you know.
Well, they're very passionate collectors. Let's put it that way. They're very, and you got to give credit where it's due, right? I mean, I think Claremont and Cockrum and Byrne really set the table for the popularity that the X-Men, have now and in the past. So, but they are, there's a lot of X-Men completists, especially in that Bronze Age area. Man, you can't find a Byrne X-Men for under $25, in decent shape. So,
thankfully, I don't collect in decent shape. That would really hinder my,
my
collection. Yeah. But at the same token, I happen to like the idea of grading comics. Now, I don't mean sending off to grading companies or anything like that. I just mean assigning a value to your comic, a condition value. I like that. And I like that because it allows people, like Matt and some of the other fine people who probably won't watch after this show to to hunt down those 9.8 white pages and pay ridiculous prices for those high grades. And that leaves all the what I would consider regular books for us regular folks. There's a couple of shops that I know of that if a book is just below a certain condition, they just won't, they can't in good conscience, charge too much for it. There's one particular shop that I go to. I picked up my Silver Surfer #1 from him for $12 because the cover was detached.
Wow.
I was like, that's fine by me. Yeah. little bit of tape and it was ready for comigories, surfboard.
Yeah, that's right.
So, stuff like that really, I appreciate that. So anything that divides collectors, I guess is what I'm trying to get at, is helpful to the rest of us because it lets us kind of wait in the wings and pick up books as we see fit without having to get bogged down in condition wars. So.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Hey, Bill. I guess you need, what does that mean? You put one of your famous memes up there? Well, no,
you know what that means, Roger.
You
probably paid him $3 for him to give us $2 just so we could say, our lady, your lady, Lady Linda. Hey.
There she is.
There she is. She looks a little lost, but I don't think anyone's going to help her. Find her way. Well, look at that. Well, I'll take a dozen.
I think she just turned 70 or is going to turn 70 years old, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's all right with us.
Wow. Amazing.
Absolutely.
Mel's like brother. As far as the X-Men, though, I think that changing the topic real quick. I think that they kind of are. They're different than most titles in that no matter what the grade, X-Men comics will sell. I mean, maybe not the newer ones, but the Bronze Age comics, even up to like 200 or so. Man, I mean, I never see them last very long. Like when I was in Florida in the shops, and as soon as they put those out, they were gone. Yeah, I mean, like 1, 2, 3 days. And some were priced aggressively as well. So that just tells you that there is a huge fan base, and Lady Fantastic, I think, put that in the chat that she'd sell her firstborn for Byrne X-Men. And a lot of people are, will dish out a good amount of money to complete that run because it's fantastic. It's true. It's one of the best comic runs, that's ever existed. I totally agree with that. But man, I think the prices that it's fetching are just a little too much for what it is.
Well, I don't know. I agree, but at the same, I agree anytime the price of a comic book raises, to that extreme. But I have to say that there are so many books that cost more than this run that don't have near the significance in story, in new characters, in character development, in world building, or even in art and covers that this run has. So
agreed.
It may be $25 a book, but when I see a brand new pinup variant sell for $75 raw,
right,
I'm like, if I can buy 3 of the Byrne X-Men run for one of those, I still think that's a good deal. You know?
Oh yeah, oh definitely. No, you're on the ball there. Absolutely. I mean, and and true that there are a lot of, like you said, the storylines are very compelling. There's a lot of characters that pop up there for the first time, or that have certain aspects of them that are new. There's a lot in that run. Starting from the Cockrum run, obviously, and art, and all the way through the Bird run, which I think was 143. There's we got the Days of Future Past, we have the Hellfire Club, we have the Phoenix, we have Arcade in there, we have so
I
much
need
going
that
on.
arcade one.
Yeah, I mean, I never had the 94, but I think I had from 98, like I have 98 behind that one, all the way through 100, and through the rest of the Burn run, and that I let somebody borrow it, and they never returned it to me. So I really miss those, but I'm not paying, what the going prices are for that. So I mean, if I find them cheap somewhere, I'll get them. But you're right. You're right. Certainly, those would be worth it way more than a lot of the modern variants that I see, which they don't do anything for me anyway. But I mean, even if I just don't think they're going to hold value like those. Those have stood the test of time. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. And I think that it takes a lot of, I don't know, when you look back at a long history, right, that the X-Men have had now, really, and diversified in various titles and offshoots and the world of the X, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Like X-Force and whatever, all the other X's they have out there.
New Mutants and all that.
Yeah, all them mutants. So when you go back and look at all those, to have a single run stand out so strongly as the must-have run, I think that's pretty impressive. I mean, there's been so many takes on this, and none have really been able to dethrone the definitive, Byrne and Cockrum run. So,
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, a lot of people like the Lee run and the 200s. But I think the art was pretty good, but the stories are not nearly as good, in my opinion.
I agree.
But I'm not saying that they were bad necessarily. But again, when you're talking about something when it's that epic, almost it overshadows almost everything else, and that's it's sort of a paradoxical thing to say, right? But it's true that you compare it to what you were, or at least in my mind, what I remember to be one of the best runs ever, and it's good, but it still doesn't rise up to that level, which was such a high ceiling for you to achieve that. I mean, and that's not a slam against anybody, because very few, like you were talking about, very few, talking about years where the art and the story and the compelling characters all sort of, that synergy of those elements came together to make an incredibly perfect kind of, era of X-Men that that so many people now are hunting for, just because it is that compelling. It's not even one thing; it's like 3 or 4 things that make it just so special.
And I also find that people are really, they really want to collect this run. Like, why do you think that is? That this run is at the top of so many people's Southern Comic Geek, he's in the chat, and he was really, I mean, he's been showing off. I don't know what he's on, maybe episode 78 of his X-Men collection videos.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems to go on forever, not in a bad way. I'm just saying it seems to go on forever. And there's still more people collecting them. Like, it's not like all the people who were raised with them and remember them are done with it, and they've already collected them all. It seems like as soon as you see an X-Men book, really anything under 300, there it is. I thought I had one. Here's X-Men 99. This was my comic shop find.
Cool.
And lo and behold, when I opened it up.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
It's a Claremont sig. You can recognize Chris Claremont's signature because it is terrible.
Yep.
Absolutely horrible.
It's like everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
So,
That's cool, Bub.
I almost didn't buy it because it has a small tape pull and Cyclops' eyes. If you can see that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So I wasn't going to get it.
yeah.
And then I was checking out, and I said, "Man, this is really rough." And I was kind of working over the shop owner. That shop's not in existence anymore, as most of the shops I deal with go out of business. So I was kind of working him over, and I was, the staples are clean, and it's not, the wrap is pretty good. Actually, it's pretty good. And then I was like, I don't know about that tape pull. And man, was I hoping to open up and see like a dog-eared page or something. And I opened up and saw that Claremont signature. And the shop owner says, I thought I had one that had a signature in it. I was like, yeah, but that really hurts the value because now it's not authenticated. There's no COA. If it turns out to be fake, it's totally worthless now. And, so needless to say, I paid the sticker price at that point because I just wanted to get the heck out of there with the book.
Yeah,
so,
that's probably a good idea. Yeah, I mean, to me, obviously, my feelings on the condition aspect, which is like, it doesn't matter to me, I mean, essentially, I just want to have the comic, like somebody was saying, I do, like, there are points where I would say no, right? Like if it has black mold in it, no, I draw the line there unless I can somehow get rid of it. But yeah, I mean, anything like that, like a tape pull, that doesn't bother me in the least, man. The comics that I had as a kid, we were lucky if the covers weren't torn in half. So to me, any condition over that is fine with me,
Yeah, I agree. Who's saying I'm so bad? He's probably talking about you, Roger. You should defend yourself when you get a chance.
You're so bad. You're so bad. Hey, we got Robb Boswell in here. How you doing, buddy?
I wouldn't take that line down, Roger. Hey, Robb Boswell's in the house. Hey, have you seen his new thing there? I wish I could make it bigger, but I don't think I can.
His little avatar?
His new Evader? Yeah.
Evader?
Huh? Can you tell what it is, Roger?
Hold on a second. I think it's a ASM 300 homage there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
If you notice, one of his fingers has been stepped on, and it's all like turned brown or something. He's got a brown 6th finger, which is
I can't tell that much detail. I can just sort of make it out. Ding, ding, ding. Yay, I got it the first try.
Oh, it's him slamming a cigar. Oh, okay. Thanks, Agu Rhythm. Ding, ding, ding. We needed that. Thank you, guys. You guys are so good. Everyone smash that like button, Lady Fantastic says. Let's see if I got any beefcake for Lady Fantastic.
Oh,
there we go.
Fantastic. All by herself. She doesn't
more
mean
manly than this. Check this out.
Yeah, that's a good one. So when you said X-Men, I figured you bring out, X-Men titles. So what I did is I tried to bring out.
What made you think that?
Because I know you, Bub. I mean, it's been over 2 years now. You know what I mean?
Has it really? I thought we started 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, maybe in your perspective. For me, it's been a long time. It's like it's maybe you've been in suspended animation or something. So what I went is I went through and I tried to remember X-Men when they appeared after they canceled their original title in X-Men 66 and before the new team showed up in Giant Size X-Men 1. Plus a few other early appearances, which I think you have as well.
Can you run through that real quick again?
Yeah, sure. Like this one here. That is, as you know, Polaris. Notice the green hair.
Yeah. I did not know that was Polaris.
Your pronunciation is sometimes a little bit difficult to swallow.
Yours is at swell, Roger.
Thank you. Well, coming from you, that's a badge of honor.
That's what I hear.
And of course, and if you see there, it says Cry Havoc. So Havoc is in there as well. And this is, again, in between the two. This is a good one.
Outside of title during the reprints, is that what you're showing?
Yeah, correct. During the reprints, correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Wow, that's
this
cool.
One here. Again, they were not, obviously they were only X-Men for a little while, but they definitely were before the cancel. And here, it's only Cyclops and Marvel Girl So I didn't go for the solo appearances like a Marvel team up and all that because there's
Right.
a ton of them. You know, the Iceman shows up in ASM 92, things like that. But you see, they still have their costumes there from.
That's
from
cool.
their-
I'd never thought about that angle. See, Roger, that's why I'm glad I continue to send you an invitation to this show.
Well, I'm very happy that you do because otherwise what would I do Monday nights? And then of course we have the Beast here when he turned furry, but there is a flashback sequence in there with the X-Men when he was with the X-Men, kind of transitioned to his solo title.
When he's not furry.
When he was not furry, when he had just those
big feet,
and big hands and all that. And then here,
you know what they say about guys with big feet?
They wear big shoes.
Yes, and they have big hands, and someday they may turn blue. That's true story.
Okay, very good, very good. And here they all, I think, is it Professor X that shows up and defeats? Yeah, golly, I don't remember. Let me look this up because my memory's a little bit hazy on this one. But I know that some X-Men are in here. I'm almost positive. But anyway, I thought it was cool in the sense. Oh, yep, right here. In the last, they disappear here in the last little pages here.
Nice.
Professor X. Notice they hit him like all three of them hit him. Boom, like just really take him out that way. It's interesting, when you look at why they were canceled. Even though Neil Adams was doing the art back then, they still couldn't sell, the X-Men.
Yeah.
Which to me is mind-boggling because those issues are actually pretty good, But it just goes to show you how when that they knew that they had to change with the times. The original team was just not going to hack it anymore. And here the Beast and the Angel team up, so two of the X-Men, double X-Men, I don't know, whatever you want to say it, against the Griffin. And then finally, this one here, they actually are not in costume in this one, though. But it is Jean
What are they
Grey.
in?
They're just in civvies. Yeah. Notice the Angel doesn't have just pants. But they are, except for the Beast, they're all here. And even though they use the logo from the old X-Men, from the reprint line. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. If you're X-Men completist, you would need those. Now you have these. I know you do.
I don't have that one.
You don't have that one? Oh,
I don't have a big team up arsenal.
Oh, okay. Though this is the continuation of this story, or really not the continuation. It's just like a prologue. This is their first crossover into another title.
Yeah, now I have that one.
You have that one. Mine has a little date stamp.
Let me make you big there. There you go.
Mine has a little date stamp right there, October 20th.
Look at the detail on that date stamp, everybody.
Oh, you're funny.
Everybody's getting into the act.
But this, I believe, is Byrne's first time that he drew the X-Men is actually in here.
Oh, wow.
Let me just double confirm that because again, my memory gets a little hazy.
You better triple confirm that before.
Yeah,
there's
airways. There's Byrne right there, and
like Spider-Man.
Yeah, and there they are.
Oh, wow.
Right there. And,
look at those big ears he gave Wolvie. Good grief.
Yeah, look at that.
Bernie Wright's in Batman.
Yeah, I was going to say that looks like kind of like a bat headgear there. So anyway, so that's kind of cool. Those kind of like little things that fall through the cracks. See, they're only there a little bit. They're not really all that much involved with the story.
What issue is that?
53.
Marvel Team Up 53. We're going to start a run on that book. They'll be sold out in an hour.
Yeah. And so he's rescued there, and then they take off, and they leave Banshee behind, and he goes on with the other story. So anyway, I just think that I find those things kind of interesting that in retrospect that these characters, they didn't know how big they were going to be, but definitely that's the first time Byrne drew them, and who knew that was a portent of things to come.
Yeah,
because, he was it's synonymous with that run, of course. They also had a small crossover here on Power Man Iron Fist 57, against the living monolith, which is an X-Men foe.
Mm.
So anyway, I just thought I'd bring those out.
We've had a lot of villain created in that. I think what's interesting is that I feel like the X-Men, of course, Marvel started crossing over their titles very early on, building the Marvel universe, if you will.
Yeah.
But the X-Men have always kind of felt like they belonged on their own to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
The entire idea of mutants takes away all the special circumstantial powers that are given to other people in the world, Like, do you really need, a Spider-Man getting bit by a radioactive spider when he could have just been born that way? So I think keeping the X-Men in their little pocket of mutant world, I like that better. Now I give Spider-Man a pass because he doesn't usually leave New York City, but I'm good with that. And the Fantastic Four, and the early days of all that. But now it's like anytime a major event happens, everyone's wondering, where is everyone? Where's everyone when this is happening? They all must be accounted for, otherwise why aren't they helping? It's
right.
Somebody's got to save the little old lady on the street, don't they, Roger?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. Yeah, the continuity aspect, and sometimes it is explained away. Sometimes, like I remember reading, I think an Avengers story sometime back, and I was against a foe, which the Earth was in peril, and they did say the X-Men were in space or something.
Yeah,
and the champions were engaged in something else. I forgot what it was, something dangerous. Et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, there is that kind of continuity. But what I found interesting about the X-Men or Marvel, the way that they brought about their teams is all their teams have a very different dynamic. At least the Silver Age ones, right? All the way through the Bronze Age. The Fantastic Four are a family. They have a family structure. You have Sue Storm and Johnny, which are brother and sister. You have essentially Mr. Fantastic and Grimm, which grew up together. They are best friends. They're almost like brothers. And then, of course, when Sue marries Reed, then the family unit is complete. We've got, then you have, obviously you have Franklin come down the pike later, et cetera, et cetera.
What was that little stupid robot's name?
Herbie.
Herbie the Love Robot. I remember.
No, not the Love Robot.
Not Herbie the Love Robot. Was it Herbie the Hate Robot?
No, it was just Herbie. It was an acronym for something, but I forgot what it was.
Oh.
What it stood for. And then you have the X-Men, which are a school. They're students, and you have the master or the teacher, Professor Xavier. So you had that relationship, and of course, like students, they had some. These were like not all the students. These were like the main. These were like the brightest stars. There were more students in the school, obviously, at some point, but these were like the brightest stars, and they came together when it was imperative for them to do so. And sometimes it was because they were being attacked or discriminated upon because of who they were. But they weren't crime fighters, They only intervened when it was like no other choice, essentially.
Yeah. And I think, Lady Fantastic is making a good point, as an impressionable youths reading these comics and dealing with, DNA and science and all the crazy things that can happen biologically and what the ramifications of that, may have in some way inspired her in her field to be a woman with a size 7 shoe. And that would, I think that's where we're going with that. No, but really, I mean, it inspires people to think more and to get involved, perhaps. And who knows what great things Lady Fantastic believes she's done for the world and community that has helped us all. So we're looking forward to that. There you go.
Well, she is so well named, Lady Fantastic, and and she is a scientist, obviously. And if you saw her interview on Life with Two YouTubers, I mean, you could see her lexicon is just way above most of us laymen. Because she got into such detail about the scientific principles of which her job entails, And it's true that the X-Men was kind of like the science based comic, because you talked about obviously biological anomalies, et cetera, et cetera, and also because of the constructs like the Sentinels and et cetera, and other villains, they had more of a science base, not so much a magical base or anything like that. And I thought that was pretty interesting myself, although I wasn't the hugest X-Men fan, but certainly once Byrne came down the pike, I became one.
Well, what's funny is that when I think about your collection, and I don't think of it often, so don't get nervous. But when I think about your collection, I find it, I wouldn't say odd, I find it curious that you don't have an entire run of the X-Men, only because it seemed like everybody was collecting those. And most of the people that I know that have collections off the rack, they have a complete run of the X-Men from the time that they started collecting comics to the end.
Yep.
And the holes that you have in your X-Men run, some of those are only like $10 books or less. Yeah.
But like I said, I used to have from 97 through the end of the Byrne run, and then I again, foolish, right? I was a young, foolish lad at that point. I let somebody borrow it who I trusted, and then I didn't have any evidence.
Same way that you lost to Hulk?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, the same guy?
Same guy, same time. It was the same time.
Oh my gosh! Look, do we know where this guy lives currently?
I probably could find out, but that's water under the bridge,
I know a guy. His name, we won't say what his name is. It's Bob Boswell. You know a guy named Bob Boswell. May or may not be affiliated with the Cornbread Mafia here in Kentucky, and but they have far-reaching. They go all the way down south to Mexican Cornbread Mafia.
That's quite all right. They again, I want to put things in perspective, and that is that these are just things, right? So at the end of the day, that's what they are. I mean, I would like to have it, and if
Jambo,
I find it,
one of us who still has a license, all the rest of us are revoked. We're all walking and riding mopeds. So Jambo's driving the truck, the pickup truck that's taking us all to get Rogers County.
That's right. Yeah, let's there's enough turmoil in the country right now. Let's not add to it. All right. For comics especially, right? But someday, I hope, if I go to garage sales and estate sales, I hope that one day I will run into it, at a reasonable price. But if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world.
I hear you. That's the way it is. Yep. You have to set your boundaries to what you're willing to do for a book. And have you found that it's harder? I've had books that I got for very good deals. We're talking cover price, whatever, right? And then have either sold or given away in other ways. But I've let go of those books, right? And then later I'm like, man, I really want that book back. For whatever reason, I want that book in my collection again. I can't pay for it. It makes me ill to think about paying twice for the same book. Even if it's a good deal, I'm like, no, it has to just appear in my collection because I will not buy it twice. It's terrible, but I feel that way.
No, I feel the same way. I would say that I would buy it if the price is good, though. I mean, I would rebuy it if it's
never good.
That's not true. That's not true. Things slip through cracks. People have times where they want to liquidate collections, and you can get them at reasonable prices. It does happen. Now, is it rare? Yes, I agree with that. It is rare. But when I lived in Florida, I used to buy at least every year. I used to find a really nice collection. So for a good 10 years, every year I would go to a estate sale or garage sale or something and find various boxes of a collection that I bought for $100 or something. So it does happen. It's just that where I'm at currently is a comics wasteland. But that won't be forever.
Well, and now this is just an abstract thought here. I haven't run the numbers on that. But have you thought about opening a comic shop or being the change that you want to see?
No. You see that would be very problematic for me because I you know how I am, Bub, with comics, right? I really do love them quite a bit. So if I know that I know my parameters, and if I made this a business, it would break me because I couldn't let go most of the stuff that would come into my shop.
Well,
So
see, now you don't know that for sure. And I only say that because I knew a fella who was a collector here in my area. He ended up opening his own shop, and he told me it has since closed for various reasons. You know, he had more kids and he needed more money, basically. But what happened? The way he explained it to me was that after owning his own shop, he found himself to have less pride in his own collection, because when he found books, he would, buy them for the shop, and he would feel like they were his, just as you're describing. They're kind of like in his collection. But then when the time came, he knew he had to sell them. It was easier to let them go. And then when it came a point where somebody would come in and say, "Hey, do you have this book?" And he'd be like, "Well, the shop doesn't have this book, but I have that book. Yeah, I'll let it go." And he ended up basically selling his collection through the shop in addition to the shop collection, because he couldn't really tell the difference anymore. And he's like, once you hold a couple of X-Men #1s in your hand, you've held them in your hand. They've been a part of your collection. You've read through them. You've enjoyed them. And then you sell them and you get, money, and you buy other stuff. So, according to him, he said that opening a shop really did kind of cure him of his, what do you call it, packerattery. I believe that's a term.
Right. A couple people came in here that I want to say hi to. Captain Radon used to be Unstoppable, what, and Comics Addiction,
bloke blocker.
Right, I think Comics Addiction. John's in here. I haven't seen him here in a while. Great to see you here, buddy.
Hey, good to have you.
And we got, of course, Pope. It was also got in here. He says, what is it? Bullets and zip ties are things as well, Roger. Oh, Pope, man. I feel the love here. I got a feeling if I said, "Let's go," these guys would be in a car and we would go down there. But no, that's not going to happen. Night Tiger. Well,
Night Tiger's here. And one of the things that he was saying that he always says, because he has this show, right? I don't know if you call it a show, but whatever he does, right? He posts these videos about not enough or too many comics or not enough, right?
Not enough, yep.
And where he talks about, like the collection of the methodology of collecting and why he would go for one book or another. And I think he does have guests on that from time to time.
He does.
So in any case, every time I see a video titled something like that, my first response is just to type in the comments, "No," and then leave. Just go and answer it. I'm just going to answer it. Here's your answer. Is it too many comics or not enough? The answer is not enough. Next. What's your next question? And then he asks again every week. I'll give him the same answer. It's not enough comics. What I need is more space to keep my more comics. I have seriously, we're thinking about doing a remodel at the old house here, right?
Right.
And in the course of this remodel, right now, my personal closet, right, where I keep my 2 pair of underwear and singular belt is here in the comic room, right? So did I lose you, Roger? Are you still with me?
I'm still with you.
All right, I'm worried about you. So it's here in the comic room. So the entire closet is, other than with my gun collection, is basically my clothes. So with the remodel, I'll end up getting a quite sizable closet in another room. And so that opens up that entire closet for anything geekery, right?
Wow.
Will no longer have a purpose. And it's not a big closet, but it's big enough to fit another file cabinet. So do I expand my hard 3,000 comic book limit to 6,000? That's the question. Then I can finish my X-Men run. Bringing it back to the subject, one of the reasons that I don't have a completed X-Men run, that I've just been hitting highlights, if you will, is because it's a long run. You're talking, even if you cut out reprints and some of the meandering middle 300s, you're still talking about probably 300 plus comics that are almost a solid run. What are you going to do with all those books? Got to have some place to put it, right, Raj?
Yeah, but you can fit those into like 2 or 3 short boxes. That's not a deal breaker. You don't even need a closet for that. You just need to say, okay, I got a space that I'm going to allocate for that run, and if it's just 300, you can allocate 3 boxes stacked. It's not much of a footprint there.
Yeah, until it is.
Well, yeah. Now, but the problem is is that a rabbit hole that you're going to go down and that's going to get deeper? Now that's a whole nother dynamic.
No, because I'll run out of space. I mean, if I bring another 3,000 available for 3,000 spots, I'm pretty much done. Like, I don't think I have room for anything else. So my thought was to, instead of putting an actual file cabinet in there, would be to do custom built-ins, reinforced underneath the house under that closet, and do customized drawers that could hold slabs, because I don't really have slabs, don't really fit in comic cabinets or filing cabinets very well, and so I have to do a custom size drawers for slabs, and they're also very heavy. So
they are very heavy. Yeah, that's why I'm unslabbing all my 30-cent variants, because those things are heavy and just eyesores to me.
Yeah, they're awkward to store. Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing that, and then that would still alleviate a lot of space. And then as I got things out of the collection slabbed, then they would transition and make room in their original spot and then transfer to the other spot. So that's another one of my them there dilemmas. So we'll see. We'll probably do a 400 subscriber giveaway or something, and try. And,
you're at way over 1,000, man. What are you talking about? You go back in time.
All right, 1,400. We hit the mark.
Okay, that's better. That's better. A couple more people have popped in here. Justice for Comics, how you doing? He's just missing X-Men 101. Wow, that's cool, man. You're almost there. Wow. Speaking of X-Men, big X-Men fan here. Uncanny Kyle Waka.
Uncanny
Kyle Waka.
Uncanny Karen Walker is in the house. I think she was the night nurse, wasn't she, for Marvel Comics?
Sure. Isn't that Linda something?
K-Dogs. Do I have any FemForce books?
FemForce.
Wait, which one is that? Is that the AC Comics or the
AC Comics? Yeah.
AC Comics?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Now I forget. Is that the one that has like Oprah on the cover or something?
I don't know. I really have never read one, but I've seen the covers, but I've never read one.
I feel like I do have some. Are they the ones from like the 80s and the 90s?
Yeah, FemForce, like probably late 80s, 90s.
Yeah, I think I've got 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, if there are ladies in the covers, you probably have a few of them.
See, people say that, but I'm very picky. Again, with 3,000 books, only you can't just collect every pair of books you see. You have to.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is that you have various ladies on your covers, not just you just don't collect the Cave Woman ones, for example. You have Elvira, Vampirella, et cetera, et cetera.
Team of 5 Girls. Yes, I do have. I think I have 2 issues of that. But I feel like that they're not. He doesn't like redheads. Way to go, Scott. I feel like they are not official FemForce titles. I feel like there's something else starring the FemForce. But oh well.
Oh, you mean it's not titled FemForce?
Right. I think it's something else starring the FemForce.
It might be. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, I had. I don't know if you know this, Bub, but at one point I had probably another. I had another 15,000 comics than what I have now, so about 25,000, I guess. Well, actually 20, because I've gotten some, and those were all like independents and 90s comics, so I sold those in bulk maybe 10 years ago, and I did have a lot of those FemForce comics in there.
Oh, and you got rid of them?
Oh yeah. I sold them all to a gentleman I was one of those like shady deals in the Goodwill parking lot kind of thing. So I think I sold them for like $1,000. I want to say.
Well, there's a lady at my church now that collects comics, and we do those shady parking lot deals all the time.
Right. They're not shady at all, but you know what I mean. You
Well,
don't
yeah,
meet at anybody's house. You meet like at a third party, place. And
well, it's weird. It's like you don't really want to be walking a stack of Walking Dead comics into the church. So,
no,
but
certainly
at
not.
the same time, that means two people are parking next to each other and popping trunks in the parking lot. That doesn't look any better.
Correct. Yeah. It looks like a shady deal. It's like, is this contraband? No, they're comics, but hey, we had Tat in here and Alex Big Blue. We got some guys. Oh, great. And Tat, one of my favorite guys here. I mean, he was like entered my very first contest. I remember. I'll never forget how honored I felt when I saw that entry from Tat, because Tat, he was one of those OG guys in my eyes.
I don't see Tat. He's not popping up on my screen.
Yeah, he's right below Alex Big Blue. First time Alex Big Blue came up there.
First time Alex Big Blue. I got Justin for comments. I see Mastodon saying, "Hey, Tat," but then I don't see Tat.
He's there. Trust me. He's there. Unless you blocked him or something, he's there.
You probably blocked him.
I don't even know how to block anybody, man.
Then that means you might have done it by accident. If you don't know how to do something, it's a chance you messed up and did it.
Yeah. How about in the parking lot of Walgreens? Yeah. Listen, I chose the Goodwill because it's across the street from the police station. So I figure if these guys were going to pull something, all I got to do is shout, and we'll have like 20 police officers right there in about 5 seconds.
There he is. There's Tat Mandu.
There he is. There he is.
One of the things about Tat's comics, he shouted me out early on, back when I was but a wee pup in the comic book community. I miss the simple days. Don't you, Roger?
I really do.
Back before the fan mail and the inappropriate pictures being sent to you via text. I'm sorry about that. Mail? I apologize. Your name sounded very similar to what I used to know.
I don't get a lot of fan mail, so maybe you do, but I guess I'm not worthy of that level of I don't know, appreciation. Although I feel very appreciated by this community, so I don't need fan mail. I have fan comments, true. I have a lot of those.
Old Tat, he used to do like a Monday afternoon live show.
Yep.
And this was back before everyone did live shows,
Yep.
Because when we started this show, there was no shows on Monday. Like Correct. Nobody was doing a regular Monday show. There was a show.
Only the Wednesday show with ETA Nick and Luther Manning and Reaper Tate. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then there were some auction type shows on Fridays and Saturdays. Mm-hmm. But the idea of just everybody getting around and just hanging out in front of the camera, that really wasn't a thing until really this last year or so. But in any case, he used to do like a afternoon little art. He would, draw on a box top and go live and then talk to people and talk about the community and talk about how he had to clean his room, basically was the topic of conversation every week.
Yep.
And I really liked those and I really missed those. But in that, he had shouted me out and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. That's something to do. I wonder if I could go live. I'd like to go live. So anyway, he's one of the inspirations between me starting the show. So, so I appreciate that. Old Tataroo.
Yeah, I appreciate him quite a bit too, because he's such a good guy. His kids would come in and interrupt him, and he would be patient with him and so loving. That tells me a lot about a person.
Voice. He would just speak so softly, and I'm gonna be right there.
Yeah, I'll be right there, guys. No worries. I'm finishing up here. I'm here now. And then he goes and cooks dinner for them. Great guy. Great. Yeah. If this is one of those guys that if I could meet him, I'd love to, because I got a feeling that he is just a spectacular human being.
I agree. All right, guys. Well, we're about that at that time. I think Matt's probably about to go live or is going live with his big birthday bash celebration of Russ. We want to support Russ, because if you've ever had any interaction with him, right? I mean, he's been around the community for quite some time. Yeah. I think he started more like a pop channel. We're talking about Super Russ 9000. And if you've ever been around him, he's one heck of a sorry individual. And so we need to make sure that we wish him a happy birthday because because you just got to feel sorry for the guy. I mean, look what he's dealing with in general. So that's all I have said now. I love me some Russ. He's a great guy. So we're gonna go say, be in the chat at least in the comment section and saying hello and wishing him a fine 40. And so we're gonna head over there. So I encourage everybody who's here. Roger, can you drop a link before we go to that? Do you know how to do that?
Yeah, I can do that. Let me find it here.
Right. If anyone can do it faster than 10 minutes, go ahead and go there now while we wait for Roger to get
I'll get it.
Technological difficulties worked out. You got it worked out, Roger?
Yeah, I got it. I'm hitting the share thing here.
Thanks again to Comics Mags Musing. He's keeping the the lights on. Dang it, I did it again, didn't I?
Keeping the Lindas on?
Keeping the Lindas
on.
Oh,
yeah, Linda. Okay. All right, I'm dropping the link. I'm not putting any description or anything, but that's right there. So head on over there and let's go roast some,
Roger.
Let's go roast some Russ.
Roger, you're getting a visitor, Roger.
Yeah. Hi there.
It's for you.
Yeah.
All right, Roger's got to go.
Yeah. So I got to park the dog. You know how that goes.
You gotta go park the dog. That's what he calls it. Remember, be blessed and be back. Right, Roger?
Absolutely.
Yep. And remember to do you actually have a book in a bag this time? I think he does. Oh, but this is going to be a new one. You ready? Remember, look, he's got to find a bad lighting spot.
There you
go. Remember, don't apologize for the glare.